With us now is Rowdy Gaines. Hello, how are you?
Hey Donna, how are you?
Good. Are you calling in from Florida today? Where are you in the
I
world?
am. I'm in Orlando, Florida, my hometown. Sort of. I'm from Winter Haven, actually, about an hour from here, but I live in Orlando right now.
Everything down there seems to be winter. Winter Garden, Winter Haven, winter. Do you
Winter
know?
Haven, there you go. Winter Garden, Winter Park. Yep, there's a lot of winters down here, let me tell you. And believe me, you want to spend your winters down here. Trust me, it's a great place to spend your winters.
Absolutely. One of the winters, I'm not sure which one, has a beautiful Tiffany glass museum.
Winter Park.
Winter
Yeah,
Park.
Winter Park. My wife has been there. I haven't been there, but we know a Tiffany Air, believe it or not,
Okay.
and they took my wife to the Tiffany shop or Tiffany museum. It was really cool, she said.
It's fascinating, and there's a connection between where that is and here in Long Island, because right here is where a lot of the Tiffany glass was made on Long Island. And so they reconstructed
Ah,
something that they saved from the estate, like some of the daffodil windows and things like that. So I love history, especially when it,
very cool. Me too.
you know,
Me
yeah,
too.
big history buff. And you are known for making history. I mean, you have a lot of gold. You have so many titles. I was looking up on Wikipedia and all these other things as we were researching and getting ready. And I'm like, he won that, and that, and that, and that, and that. Did you like get a whole display case now? Do you have like a whole curated department, or how does that
I
work for
think
you?
I think Don, I must have bribed Wikipedia to put up all that great stuff they wrote about me. So there you go. No,
It's
it was a
verified,
big.
though. It's
Oh, it is
verified.
verified.
It's
Oh,
true. It's true. You won all
hey,
those things.
I wasted all that money for nothing then. No, it's a great honor to have gone to the Olympic Games to represent my country. I made two Olympic Games. I made the one in 1980, which we didn't get a chance to compete in, and then of course 1984, having been in Los Angeles, was sort of a dream come true to be able to swim in an Olympics in your home country.
I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, and I remember those games. I graduated high school in '83, and those games were a really big deal. You know, we had
Yeah.
games in Los Angeles, we had games in Atlanta. It's fun when they can play here.
Yeah, we had them in St. Louis too, you know.
Yeah, 1904?
That's right. That's right. Good job. Very nice. 1904, a little while ago. But yeah, it is cool to be able to have an Olympics in your home country. It's sort of like your favorite football team. If you're St. Louis used to be St.
I
Louis
know, St.
Ram.
Louis. Well, it
Uh,
was before that. It was it was the
that's right. It's
Cardinals, because
Cardinals.
that's where I
Excuse me.
grew
You're
up.
right.
I grew
That's
up
right.
in St. Louis.
That's right. So it would be like them playing a Super Bowl at home, right? So that's
Yes.
sort of what it was like for an Olympic athlete to be able to swim a Super Bowl in your home country, so to speak. So it was really pretty cool.
So as a freestylist, because I always think that that's such a funny term, you know, um, what is that? Is that like a freestyle dancing for the audience at home? Like, what does that exactly mean? Because there's the backstroke and the breaststroke
Right,
and all these different
right.
strokes.
Very good, very
So,
good. You have done your homework, Donna. Very nice. Yeah, backstroke, breaststroke, butterfly, and freestyle. Freestyle is the oldest stroke. It used to be called the crawl, right?
okay.
Back in the old days, it was called the crawl. And I don't know that one either, but sort of like a spider crawl maybe. But freestyle is meaning you can swim any stroke you want to. You can do dog paddle down the pool. You can do backstroke. You have to stay on top of the water. You can't go in the water, but you can do anything. So it's sort of free. You have the freedom to do any kind of style you want to on top of the water. Isn't that boring information I just gave you? But anyway, that'll
No, no, I
give you an
think it's important
explanation.
because I think people don't, I mean, if you're in that world, if you're in that swimming world, you
Yeah,
know what that means. But somebody else is like freestyle. It's like, well, what do they mean by that? How does that qualify
yeah,
that you get to choose? So, of
yeah.
all the strokes, you know, um, I know a few of them, but mostly for the kids that aren't growing up with pools in their own backyard
Yeah.
or they're not being trained, you know, it's the one where you're like supposed to turn your head and, but
That's freestyle.
I know, but I was always afraid that I couldn't breathe, you know, so I'd always try to keep my head above the water.
That that is the biggest problem I have when I teach children and adults, for that matter,
Right.
how to swim better in the water, is the fact that freestyle breathing is the hardest because you are turning your head and you're shifting your body and your head, and it is hard sometimes to develop that breathing pattern. And once you get that down, then it's smooth sailing after that.
Well, once you get that down, you could probably be a winner at dunking for apples, You know, like like
You come on, you take a quick breath, go down. Yeah,
get an apple.
you're doing good, right? Right? No doubt.
So you've brought a lot of joy over the years in many different ways, whether it's your broadcasting, whether it's your Olympic gold. What brings you joy nowadays? What makes you the happiest?
Well, that's a good question. I think first and foremost for me is when my family's happiest. I have 4 daughters and 3 granddaughters. My wife and I have 4 daughters and 3 granddaughters. And I think when I'm around them and I see joy in their faces, that brings me the most joy. Whether it's getting together for Christmas, which we didn't get a chance to do this year because of COVID, or if it's just going to the beach or just going to something as simple as going to Gatorland here, a theme park here in Orlando. It's for me, it's just being with family. I know that sounds kind of corny, but it's true. I really don't have any hobbies or anything. I swim. That's
Right?
my one hobby I do. I go swim every day, but for me, it's just hanging out with family.
One time I was down in Florida and I got to be a mermaid. Have you ever been to Weeki Waki?
Wiki Wachi, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Have you done
course.
that?
It's one of the, yeah, no, I've never done it, but
Okay.
it's one of the oldest attractions in Florida, Wiki Wachi. It's over on the East Coast, excuse me, on the West Coast. So, yeah, it's a very popular track. It's like Gatorland. Gatorland's one of the oldest attractions and really is really one of the coolest in my opinion. But I really love Wiki Wachi too.
They also have maybe, and that's near you too, I believe. It's where they have the water skiing, and it's the acrobatic where they make the towers of people.
Yeah, that's called Cypress Gardens.
That's it.
Cypress Gardens. I grew up on the same lake that Cypress Gardens is on in Winter
Wow.
Haven, Florida. My parents water skied for Cypress Gardens.
Really?
So literally, and I worked for Cypress Gardens when I was in high school. And yeah, you mentioned Cypress Gardens. It no longer exists, Donna. It became Legoland.
Okay.
But Cypress Gardens is really the oldest, I believe. You know, you probably have to look that up, but oldest attractions ever to come out of Florida. It came out in the 30s. My mom came down in the 50s to water ski for them. So
Oh
that's
my
how my
goodness.
mom and dad met. They were water skiing at Cypress Gardens.
Well, it's interesting. I don't like to name drop, but I'm going to name drop because this is kind of
Sure.
cool. My dear friend Tim Rarucka, his parents also met by doing something like that down in Florida. Maybe even
Wow.
maybe they all know one another. Who knows? It's a
Yeah,
small
really.
world. But Tim's one of our travel correspondents. So Tim and I went to Japan together. We were sitting around one day, just talking, and we were talking about how our parents met and things like that. And he's like, "Oh, my parents were, water skiers." So,
Oh,
your
really?
family, so being aquatic, it kind of there's a theme there. I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about the water and what it means to me and what it's meant to me in my life, it's a book for sure that needs to be written because I grew up on a lake my whole life. I learned how to swim when I was 9 months old. I learned how to swim before I learned how to walk.
Wow.
And but I never really started competitive swimming till I got to high school as a junior in high school when I went out for my first high school swim team. So that's a little different because we just kind of took swimming as a recreational sport. It's sort of like snow skiing. And if you grow up in Aspen, that's what you do every day.
That's what you do.
For us, it was swimming and skiing every day.
Yeah, you tried other sports. I read first, right? In high school, you tried
Yeah.
to do something else.
Yeah, I tried.
Okay.
When I got to my high school was just sophomore, junior, and senior. So when I got to be a sophomore, I tried out for football, basketball, baseball, tennis, and golf. I tried out for 5 different sports, and I got cut in all 5 of them. So swimming was just sort of next. It was like after tennis, after I failed in tennis, got cut. I said, okay, what's next? Swimming.
And it
If
worked.
I got cut from swimming, I was going to go out for the track and field team. I swear to God, I literally went to the library that day that I went out for swimming to study up on track and field and see which event I could try out for track because I just knew I was going to get cut in swimming.
Well, congratulations on all your success in life, and for sharing a little bit about your family and things like that. So I was asking you if you had a curio cabinet, but really, when you do have a lot of beautiful awards and things from your journey, where do you keep them? I was asking where do you keep your gold? So,
Well, my gold medals are somewhere. Sometimes I keep them in a drawer.
okay.
My wife knows where they're at. She knows. I don't know where they're at, actually, to tell you
Okay.
the truth. I couldn't tell you where any one of the three are right
I'm
this
sure
moment.
they're safe. I'm sure they're somewhere
No, no,
safe.
they're safe. Believe me, my wife knows they're safe. She keeps track of that stuff. But no, I don't pay much attention to the metal part, the METAL part of the
Okay.
awards. I
Just
obviously, I
the,
think
right.
obviously it means a lot to me, but it's really, and again, I get corny on it, but it's really more about the journey
Yeah.
to those medals, because I went through the boycott in 1980, and that was, that was pretty devastating for a lot of athletes. So for me, it's always been about the journey. It wasn't so much about the hardware, so to speak.
And it is now about the journey. And even for me, so I don't know if we had talked about it, but in 1997, I worked in this exact building. I was the promotions
Hmm.
coordinator, and then I became the director of creative services. I left and I went on my own journey. And so physically, today is the very first day that we're filming the show back in that same studio space where I was when I was a
Wow.
kid. And it's just, I'm having the most surreal experience today. And I was so looking forward to talking to you, because to try to capture the essence of one's soulful moments in life, it's hard to even describe it into words. And I haven't won an Olympic gold medal, but I like to live vicariously through you. And I'm hoping that my audience and other people, when they're celebrating things in their life, they're kind of living a little bit vicariously through me.
That's
So
right.
that's just the journey. That's just the whole process of it all.
Yeah.
Here we are in 2021, and what's on your hot list to do? You're going to learn how to do hot yoga. Like, is there anything fun that you haven't done yet that you want to try?
Well, it's funny because you say that, Donna, and my wife Judy and I have talked about this over the last 6 months. With COVID, really last year
Right.
almost. Let's do something. What could we do something? What could we do together that would be fun for the both of us? She's a swimmer only because of me, but we've always talked about playing golf. I'd love to take up golf
Ah,
as a hobby. Something that we can do together. We've talked about dancing, taking dancing lessons together. So there are all kinds of things that we've talked about. Whether or not we really put it into fruition, I'm not real sure. But for me, this is a busy year. Hopefully, knock on wood.
yes.
This
What?
is the
Yeah.
Olympic year. Yeah. So with Tokyo coming up in 6 months, who knows what's going to happen?
Well, we had gone to Tokyo because they wanted us to pre-promote the 2020 Olympics. So I went with my crew of 6, and by the time that was in October, and by the time we had gotten home, that's when COVID happened, and then it got postponed. But our heart was still there. So yes, hopefully, the Olympics will happen. So
Yeah, I really do hope so, Donna. But that the Japanese people are some of the warmest, kindest people in the world. I've gotten to know them very well. I worked for a Japanese company for 8 years, and when I lived in Hawaii, and they've done so much hard work in trying to get these Olympics ready. So I certainly hope and pray it will happen in 2021. Primarily because of because of the Japanese people, also
yes,
because of our athletes.
yes, absolutely. It would be lovely if that can happen. So we'll think good thoughts. We'll think
Thank
happy
you.
thoughts. So,
Thank
but
you.
continued success to you, and thanks for spending some time with me.
Thank you, Donna, very
Okay,
much. Take care now.
wish you all the best.
You
Okay,
too.
bye.
Bye.